name's Abby. I'm a social media consultant and I'm here to show you how to create a LinkedIn profile. I know a lot of you out there have probably had update LinkedIn profile on your to-do list for quite some time, but it's one of those things that never actually get done. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through all the key areas that you need to update. So let's get started. Number one, the first thing people are going to see when they land on your profile is your profile picture. Now, some of you might have a grey box there at the moment, or you might have an old picture there that hasn't been updated. Ladies or gents, actually, you might colour your hair and you might have different coloured hair. There's a couple of things to keep in mind when it comes to your profile picture. That is, make sure the majority of the picture, that round circle, has actually got your face in it. If, for example, you are a speaker and perhaps you run events, you might want to use an image of yourself in action where you're speaking, so it nicely captures and kind of, at the end of the day, a picture says 1,000 words, so that kind of expresses already the type of person that you are. The other option is obviously get your workmates involved and get a team photo shoot done. Really simple. You just need a plain background perhaps with you smiling. Remember to look happy in your photos, guys. And just go ahead and upload it. You can even use your iPhone. It's so simple to take a picture, make sure you're looking professional on the iPhones or whatever phone you might have. You probably have a timer option, so you can go ahead and put the timer option, set it up so that you can take pictures. And the best thing is no one's around, so you could do as many shots as you want. And then the other thing to note actually is if you do take a picture on your iPhone or whatever phone you have, you can then go ahead and edit it. So there's an option within the screen to brighten it up so that you're, if there's any shadows and stuff, you can get rid of those shadows and what have you. So that's number one. Okay, so number two, this is your cover image. Now, some of you might not know this, but this blue box that you have at the top of the page behind your profile picture, you can actually edit that image. I do get a lot of questions from people saying, well, what kind of image can I put there? Which is a very good question. Now, there's multiple ways of doing this. You could either go to a royalty-free website such as pexels.com and find an image which kind of captures the industry that you're in perhaps, and then you could upload that as like a generic image in the background. Or you could, if you are working for a company, perhaps they could supply you with some assets. I've worked with clients before where they have like 4 or 5 different templates and then you can pick which one you want. Number 3, and this is one of my favorites actually, is to go to Canva. So if you go to canva.com, you can go ahead and create your own bespoke cover image. Really easy. So you could pick pictures perhaps from different things that you do, and you could put that up on there. Now, when it comes to that space, you haven't got that much space within that banner. So although many people do like to put things like their website links and contact details, that's completely fine, I think. Just be a bit mindful. You don't want to put too much text on there and kind of make the image look poor. You want it to look professional. So just make sure that the cover image that you have looks good and communicates what you're trying to say. Another thing that's worth mentioning with your profile picture is don't put your company logo in there. It confuses things and it looks a bit messy. This is meant to be on your personal profile, is supposed to be a personal profile picture. So make sure that that's there. So I wanted to touch on one more thing before we go on to point number 3. And that's just thinking about how you set up your profile in the first place. So just as a note, I've seen some people sometimes do this in error. Make sure if you are a new business, for example, and you want to create a business profile, that will be different from your personal profile. So make sure you set them up correctly. There's certain functionalities that you'll be able to do on a company page versus a personal profile and vice versa. It also makes you look a lot more professional if you have set up the page in the right way. So just don't forget that. Number 3 is your headline. Now, this only has 120 characters, and this is one of the most important boxes because this is where you will come up in search results. If you are a sales manager or a HR manager, or you're a social media consultant, whatever your position is, this is where you want to put those keywords in, because that's what's going to rank first when people are searching for social media manager, for example, on LinkedIn. If you want to use emojis, please go ahead and do so to express your personality, but only if you've got enough characters. The main aim of your headline is to say exactly what it is that you do. One of my pet peeves is actually when people write a long sentence about, I'm the best person in the world, I am a guru in X, Y, and Z. That may be the case, but it just makes you look a little bit desperate perhaps and not very professional. So keep those types of lines for the about section instead. And this brings me on to number 4. So this is your about section, and probably one of the most important sections of LinkedIn after your headline. This is where you're going to have a chance to talk about yourself, what you have to offer, your skill set, and why people should connect with you. You may want to add in here things like your email address or other ways to get in touch, and perhaps put a little bit about your other hobbies and interests, because it adds a little bit more personality. Now, sometimes what I see in the about section is people talk about themselves in the third person, which I have to admit I have been guilty of doing so in the past myself. But this is your profile, so it's best to write about yourself in first person and say that this is who you are. One of the other tips I have when it comes to writing the about section is think about who your target audience is. Who are you trying to connect with on LinkedIn? So whoever that person is on LinkedIn, whether you're looking for a new job or you're looking for connections, you're looking for a new business, make it crystal clear about what it is that you do, how you do it, what experience you've had, etc., and how to get in touch. You don't want to waffle on too much in this area, and remember, people can scroll down and find out more about your experience, etc. as well, but this is your box, your kind of section where you can give a lot of information about exactly why they should get in touch. I think things like adding a little bit about your hobbies and interests really helps. Remember to make this unique. I do see a lot of people kind of writing the same kind of stuff, like I'm motivated, I'm driven, I'm hardworking, which I'm sure we all are, but you need to come up with a better way to create that. Lead with an example which kind of reflects that kind of skill that you have, rather than stating all of your skills. I know we would have done these kind of things when we created our cover, personal statements in your CVs, but this isn't what you should be doing really on LinkedIn. And if you need any help with that, then please feel free to get in touch. But now we're going to go on to number 5. Number 5. So this is a section which is about your experience and your education. So it is really a personal preference. I actually previously used to work in recruitment, and the rule of thumb used to be that we need to have at least 2 to 5 years worth of experience on there. Obviously, if you've been working for the same company, then perhaps basically use that section to kind of explain the roles that you've had. Perhaps you got promoted along the way. But the main thing to keep in mind is in this part of experience, you should only really keep the jobs there which are relevant to what you have to offer to clients or potential connections. There's no point in putting things like if you worked in a retail store or something when you were 16 years old, because people probably won't go that far back in your history, obviously depending on how far you are in your experience. Put in your job title, fill out as much information as you can. So once you've filled out your job title, where it was, how long you've been working there for, etc., in that pop-up box, you can then fill out more information about what you did in that role. Now, always remember, keep your target audience in mind. Who are you trying to resonate with? And fill out not too much information, maybe some bullet points, 4 to 5 bullet points, which kind of sums up what you've been doing in that particular role. But I would say highlight any key achievements that you have here. The other thing that's worth noting is that you can upload PDFs or presentations. These might be really useful tools which kind of give a little bit more information about what it is that you have to offer. So why not add that in? Perhaps you worked on a project before which you're really proud of and you want to upload that presentation there too. When it comes to the education section, you might want to put all your education in there or you might not want to. It's completely a personal preference. But do make sure you complete that section so it doesn't look like you just missed it out. There's also another section underneath your education, which is your licenses and certificates. So this could be anything like if you've gone on to do a Google certification, or perhaps on HubSpot if you work in marketing, for example. But whatever that might be, you can go ahead and upload that here. So that just adds a bit more credibility to your profile. Number 6 is skills and endorsements and recommendations. So you may see this feature where you can endorse people for their skills. It's a really nice thing to do, a really great way to show appreciation to your contacts and connections, especially your team colleagues, and perhaps people that you work with. It's always nice to give a little bit of a boost and endorse people for their skills. Now, the final part of point number 6 is recommendations. Now, this is something which we all kind of are guilty, I guess, of not asking for. But remember, recommendations are so important because they'll help people to get a better understanding about who it is that you are, what kind of services and experience that you have on offer. So why not go ahead and, as your homework, go and find 3 people that you can ask for a recommendation. Now, there is an option to request someone to send you a recommendation. So if you go into LinkedIn, you could even write a message. If you want to, you might want to add in a couple of bullet points, perhaps to say this is what I'd like to be included in my recommendation. So don't be shy to do so. Point being, try to get at least 3 recommendations in the next month. That's it. So they are my top 6 steps on how to complete your LinkedIn profile. If you have got any questions, then please feel free to reach out to me. I have got a downloadable PDF which has got all of these steps on there with a couple of pointers so that you can go ahead and work on this. Thank you so much for watching this video and good luck with your LinkedIn profile.